Hey everyone, I'm Anna Hollaender. Hola, mi nombre es Ana Josefina Hollaender, and I'm a speaker for the HEARD. That's the Speakers Bureau for the National Mental Health Awareness Campaign. About 70% of all young people don't talk to someone about these issues. Why do you guys think that is? It doesn't matter what gender you are, what race you are, how much money you have or don't have. It's something that affects all of us. I mean, think about who you're sitting with today. It's probably the people you do external things with, like kids you go to class with or the people you hang out with after school. But think about how different the makeup of this room would be if I said everyone with an alcoholic parent in the first 2 rows, everyone who's thought about committing suicides in the next 3 rows, or anyone who is feeling like they're experiencing depression to sit in the next 3 rows. All of a sudden, the external stuff would disappear, and your thoughts and your feelings would be the linking factor. So first, I'm going to share with you my personal experience. At age 6, my father took his own life. At age 18, I moved 2,000 miles away to college, where I didn't know one single person, and at age 20, I was diagnosed with a binge eating disorder and depression. Another thing I remember about being 6 is hanging out with my dad. My dad and I remember we went to this 7-Eleven market to buy donuts this one time, and he was actually a really super social guy, life of the party, teacher, had a master's degree from Brown University. But there was something else that happened with my dad that made me realize that just because everyone seems like they have it all together, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what's going on the inside. So one night, my always social father had been out late at a football game, and my mom and I had gone to sleep early in the other room. In the morning, we woke up, and I remember that she had sort of sensed something wasn't right. So she went to his door, the door was locked, and then I remember her kind of panicking and running outside and looking in his window. And I just remember seeing this look of basically terror on her face. What she saw, I'll never know, but I would later learn my dad had taken his own life. After that, my mom and my grandma, they rarely talked about my dad. There was no funeral, and it was like he almost never existed. So I guess it only kind of makes sense that I don't really remember how I dealt with my dad's death emotionally or what was really said to comfort me. I just remember feeling angry, scared, and confused. And I know most people who take their own lives, they don't want to die, but they just don't really see another way out of that pain. But I think I became this like beacon of positivity for my mom, and I remember eventually she got over his death and she remarried, and all of a sudden she became this like Stepford wife, happy-go-lucky all the time. I mean, even when my mom was upset, she wouldn't actually get mad. She just sort of get low and sad and say she was like having a heart attack. Looking back now, I see that always being like the beacon of positivity and never talking about uncomfortable subjects with, like my dad, was a way of sort of coping with my family dynamic. My sophomore year of college, someone whose opinion I valued highly told me I should lose a significant amount of weight, even though I was at a normal weight at the time. And I know what you're thinking, yeah, she doesn't have a weight problem, or whatever. I started like fantasizing about all those foods I hadn't been able to eat: pizza, hamburgers, milkshakes. I would have that free food day where I could eat what I really wanted, but I would start obsessing about that day all the rest of the week, and that free food day kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger with the amount of food I would eat. So things just kept getting worse. There were like late night runs to the supermarket at 3 a.m. to buy whole cakes. I mean, I just couldn't eat one slice. So that led me to see the school nutritionist. And I distinctly remember her saying, "All right, Anna, you have an eating disorder and you need to go see the school therapist." And I was like, what? I don't have an eating disorder, and I certainly don't need to go see a therapist. I mean, I'm not like my dad. This inability to get out of bed for weeks was what finally led me to my last resort, seeing the school therapist. I remember sitting there, and for the first time, I was encouraged to talk about my thoughts and my feelings that had led me to start becoming obsessed about my weight and the way I looked. My therapist diagnosed me with a binge eating disorder. After a few months of therapy, I started to realize that by obsessing about weight and body image, well, I didn't really have time to think about life problems, like why I was in this jealous, obsessive relationship, or why I didn't have many friends, or why I could never really tell my mom the way I felt about anything or ever talk about my dad. I now realize that, life's kind of messy. There are ups and downs, and there are a lot of days in between all that. And not living life in the I'm fine and I'm okay all the time like I used to try to do, but living life in I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm frustrated. All those things are the normal way to live your life. So I guess I'm in maintenance now with my recovery. Just like, you have to bring your car in for an oil change every couple months, or you have to get your hair cut or get your nails done. I have to check in with myself pretty much every day and see what's really going on. Because I know that the alternative is just numbing out to life, and that's not what I want to do anymore. Because remember, guys, everybody, they just want to be heard.